Like last night after dinner, I was like drifting off. Like my wife's like, what's wrong? What are you thinking about? I want to scare Larry tomorrow in his own car.
Hey everyone, Larry Chen here. Welcome to another episode of Hoonigan Autofocus. Today we're actually focusing on my car, my actual car, Ole Orange Bang 1970 240z. I like to talk about it in every video, but this is the first time that I actually should be talking about my car because I'm featuring my own car. But the point is, I don't actually know anything about this car. This is not even my car anymore. This is transformed into something amazing by my really good friend, Rob Fuller from Z Car Garage. You guys are probably wondering, why is it that it's been here for so long? Well, the story is, we actually dropped it off right before the shutdown, like 2 weeks before the shutdown, I feel like. And then since then, the world has changed and now it's mostly back, all of that. I'm so excited. We're here, finally get to see the car in its finished form. I guess almost near its final form. I'm so excited. I just can't believe it's sitting here and we're here. I'm here to pick it up. I'm here to drive it. And you actually want to show me so many things about it that you've done, because as much as you guys liked the car, as much as I liked showing you guys the car, it was just a looker. It did not perform at all. There was constant issues with it. It would always overheat. There was always problems where it wouldn't idle. It wouldn't really stop very well because the brakes weren't very good. There was just so many problems with it, time and time again, nonstop. It would cut out every now and then. But we fixed all of that. Every single bit of that. So let's start from the beginning. What was the first thing that you worked on?
Well, we met each other. We looked at your car. We checked out and saw the things that we could make better, right? And so it's got our Z Car Garage brakes on it. It's got our CV axles. We did a full alignment. We corner weighted and balanced your car with your weight in it. And then we worked on all those things you just talked about, right? We worked on the air conditioning system. We worked on the cooling system. And we ducted all of the air through all of our coolers instead of all over the place. We changed the oil cooler and the location of the oil cooler. And then management.
Yeah, engine management.
That was a huge game changer.
Engine management is a game changer.
What's your favorite standalone, Larry? Because I know my favorite standalone.
So tell us what your favorite standalone.
Yeah, Haltech is just an absolutely awesome, friendly customer company, right? You can get a standalone, get it in your car, and with the base map, have it running in a day. And so for somebody that tunes cars every day like myself, I love it.
All right, so the story is, when I bought the SR20 for this car, for my swap, it came out of an old Formula Drift car, as you guys probably already know, which means that it was out of a race car. The engine management that came with it is fine, I think, for a race car that's just for racing only, not for street use. It was terrible for street use. Like, I could not drive it at all. Anytime I had to go somewhere, you just couldn't even idle. You had to get on the gas.
Throttle,
if you're going to a stop sign, you have to be on the throttle as you're braking.
Right.
Just to keep it, just so it wouldn't die.
Sure.
And it was the worst. In traffic, it would just die, and it was just horrible to drive. With that said, Haltech stepped up and they sent us an Elite 1000 ECU, which solved all of the issues. One of the first things that I asked Rob when I walked in here was if I have to prime the fuel pump anymore when I'm starting it, and now actually, as soon as you turn the key, it starts.
It's a street car. It's a street car that can go on a racetrack. And that's what your car is going to be from now on, is a car that you can get in on a Sunday morning and drive wherever you want and be able to get to the light and idle. Turn your air conditioning on when it's hot. Get caught in traffic. Do all those things because that's what makes you want to drive your Z, right? If your Z is always fighting you and always giving you a hard time, you're going to drive it. You're going to drive it less and less and less. But if it's friendly and it makes you warm and puts that smile on your face and you sit in your sexy Recaro and you do all of those things, then you always want to get behind the wheel.
That's one other thing that is changed on the interior, on the comfort side. I actually drove the Nasty Z,
Yeah.
the Medusa, probably one of the scariest cars I've ever driven. And it had the most comfortable seats for 240Z. I knew I needed to get those exact seats. So we went with the same Recaros and they fit perfect. The problem with a lot of race seats is that they actually hit the door and they destroy the door. And it doesn't actually allow for the door to close, but there's actually a gap here.
There's my fingers gap right
Yeah,
there.
there's actually a gap and it allows you to run a nice race seat that's very comfortable. That smells amazing, by the way, too, because it's leather. It fits well, and it just looks so good. I just can't believe they fit so perfect. There's no better way to modernize a Z. The problem with the stock seats, they look great. You're all
moving
over the
around,
place.
yeah. Right, exactly. You're moving around too much, and that's why I love the Recaro Specialist. And I have them in my car, and pretty much every one of the builds that we do here always has a Recaro seat. They're just fantastic, highest quality. The cloth seats and butters I bought, I think in 2001. And so they just stand the test of time. And when these Z cars get, somebody pulls a car out that hasn't been out since like 85, and it's got like vintage Recaros, they're always in bitchin' shape because they're just wonderful quality. So again, not the least expensive seat ever, but you're going to sit in it. It's where it all starts, right? Is your steering wheel and your seat.
No, the parts that you actually touch, you're actually
Every
touching.
day. Yeah, you're not going to touch your brake caliper. You're not taking your brake caliper off, right, and put it in your backpack, but you'll take your wheel off and you'll love it, right? And then you'll sit in that seat every time. So very cool.
All right, so let's take a look at the engine bay. You've done so much to this thing and you've refreshed it. I have to see it. Wow.
Yowza. Just a little touch-ups. Again, new radiator.
The funny thing is, I'm so blown away because, it looks, it's funny because you were telling me that you were going to paint it black and it just make it disappear. But the fact that you did it body color, I like it so much better.
Yeah, I think it looks really nice and I love, right?
I think it looks great.
I'm really proud that, you've got the Nissan logo on there and we zinc plated all your hardware and your fuel rail and just kind of tried without going crazy, we really tried to just make it look like it had been at Z.
The engine bay finally looks like the rest of the car. I mean, because when I was going to shows, nothing against the original color, it was kind of a tribute to the cars that it came out of.
Yeah.
It was pink. It was like, it wasn't a hot pink, but it was like a pink and it was chipped and it was ugly and dirty.
We saved it for you. Now it can be it's going to be on the wall at your garage.
But so all of this is brand new hardware?
It's your existing hardware that we take off and then we have it zinc plated. And we do it for all our restorations.
It looks brand new. It looks
really
so
nice.
good.
And it's just the small little touches, right? And again, we didn't get crazy. We just wanted to make things kind of make us feel good inside, right? All your oil lines have been redone and rerouted. There's your new battery with the battery hold down.
The anti-gravity
Correct.
is so nice. Man, that thing is just so good.
I'm your tiny battery.
It saves up so much weight and also it just cleans up the engine bay so much.
And there's nothing better than seeing a factory Nissan oil filter on any Nissan engine. Doesn't that?
How cool is that?
Doesn't the 55YOA make you feel good inside?
Wow.
Warm and
I haven't
fuzzy.
seen one of these in so long.
Delicious. And then there's our Spall fans.
This looks so good. It looks factory. It looks like something that came out of a factory.
Well, it just, I know that you had built all these brackets and kind of done things to get everything in there and be functional. But because there was so much gap in between all the heat exchangers, There was just really no way to get all of the airflow through all of them. And so again, by capturing everything, making it go where we want it to go with these beautiful fans and the enclosure around them, so that the entire radiator assembly, right, now the fans pull everything through all of the heat exchangers.
And you actually took the Mishimoto, while it's a great radiator for a stock 240Z, it actually needs to be modified for this duty for a turbo car.
We just modified it for the simple fact is on your pick list was, Rob, when I put the air conditioning on, it's not cold. When my oil cooler is there, taking all that heat coming off of the oil cooler and pumping it right into my condenser, into my radiator. I wanted all that to be done. I wanted it to be able to pull through here. And, again, I did all the dyno tuning on your car, and then I just really did some hot lapping with it with the air conditioning on, just to see if I could get it to overcome. Oh yeah.
You guys even did this?
What? Yeah.
This looks like brand new. That's just what you guys do.
That's what we do here. Yeah, well, again, I did this not for you, for me. Like every time I popped the hood, I was like, oh, that bothers me. Oh, I got it. And so again, I just wanted to make it, feel familiar. Really awesome.
I use this a lot. Mind blown.
Oh.
Mind blown.
Isn't that cool?
This is so
my friend
crazy.
Tony at TC Design, he's a fabricator in this area, and he does like all of our like little fab work, and he's just awesome. Like he came over, we made a cardboard template of this, and he just, look at how like that little bend there, and all these pieces, and this just bolts in with 2 bolts. This is all serviceable. So like say we have to get to the condenser, we have to get to anything, we just pop that panel off and we got full access to everything. Your AC lines were all over the place. It was kind of like Spaghetti Junction outside of Atlanta, and we just made all of that nice. So we made all new AC lines for it, tucked all that stuff up. And again, now all that stuff is serviceable, the hot side and the low side, right? Because again, this Datsun is for driving around, for having a good time.
Wow. And the fans, it fits so good. There's
There's
still room, too.
And you know what? They're just, those Spall fans, there's nothing like them, right? It's like if I wanted to blow away a small village, I would hire Spall to like make me a bunch of fan blades. They're fantastic fans. And again, look at how beefy the motor is, right? And so this stuff's gonna last. And that's the coolest thing, is that you wanna do work to your car, but then you don't wanna redo that work 2 years later, right? And so now, you should have the 3-dimensional package: power, braking, suspension, cooling.
I don't even recognize this engine bay. Like this is not the same car that I dropped off. It's so wild how much you guys. It's just like the little things that make such a big difference. It makes the biggest difference. Like all of this nickel
cleaned
plating.
up and nice. Yeah, sure.
And
and again, this really helped us too, because as you know, man, the last year has been pretty crazy for all of us. And so I get to get lost in all these cool cars and do the fun things. And again, it's nice that like, I'm really proud of like all of us, like the guys here, you just had Nick over here helping. All the guys worked on this car and we were all into it because we wanted to, make this car fun.
Just incredible. Can we take a look at the interior here? So where is the Haltech actually mounted? Is it?
I'll show you. In the kick panel over here on the passenger side.
Even just the door alignment, the windows.
Yeah, so we did our package that we do here. So listen, if you
the rubber.
Yeah. Right. So
how do you guys fix that?
We have a sound deadener that we use in the inside of the door skin, and then we seal the door with a piece of plastic. And so it's all weatherproofed, and then we put the door panel together. Your felts were missing on your door panel, so we put some new felts on them. And then we took your whole door apart. We did all of your gaskets here, the little weather strips, and then we did your felts over, because the felts weren't very nice, and so we did all those over, put it all together, glued them in, and then all of your regulators were a little sticky, and so we redid your regulators so it all comes up and down super smooth.
Well, because the thing is, I bought a lot of these rubber pieces and a lot of trim pieces from Motorsport Auto in Anaheim, and they supplied a lot of this stuff. But the problem is, I look at it, it's just a bunch of rubber pieces. Sure. I don't even know where they go.
Right. Well, that's my job. You drive. You drive and take the pictures. We do everything else. Yeah, so pretty stoked
I mean, like,
on that. And
like
then,
I don't even know how to put this thing on.
Well, it's on now, so you don't have to worry about it. And then we don't like the factory Nissan door seal, and so we actually use a German seal. And so this is really nice because it's got a lot of, look at how much squish it has. And so when you're going down the road, it's really cool with the windows up. You don't get a lot of wind noise. And the other really cool thing is the first couple of weeks, you're just gonna have to shut the door with a little attitude so that way you get it. But you hear it, right? It's like, it thuds like a German car. That's the way it's supposed to be.
Well, the thing is, this also, it comes down, or I used to have an issue where when you close it, it would like squish and it would just come off. So you guys redid all of this,
Yeah, we did.
huh?
Yeah, and we did your hatch seals inside and out as well.
Oh, can we take a look at that?
Right, just because again, after the paint work, those weren't done to the Z-Car Garage spec, so we made them that way. I think you might be locked here. Oh. Yeah, so we did all your weather strips, right? Because you want all that
this
stuff done.
is, oh my God.
Yeah, that's all new.
This is incredible.
Oh, thanks. Yeah,
and
it came out
this,
super, super nice.
you redid all of this
Yeah, this
stuff.
plated. Yeah, all that stuff, then plated up here. Yep.
I can't believe it. I've never seen it all together, because usually what happens is it goes like this. It just like droops down.
Yeah. And the other part of it too, right? Like I had these and we stuck those on, and then you have a Series 1 car, and so I actually take and we epoxy these up. And so we fill those holes so that way you don't suck in exhaust fumes. And so all of that's epoxied now. And so you see, when you look at it, you can't tell. But now all these are sealed. So they're sealed from weather, and then you won't smell any exhaust. So yeah. Oh, and we did your taillights, right? So we did the taillight gaskets, and we did all the fitment of these finisher panels.
That's another place where a lot of exhaust fumes go in.
Absolutely.
Pretty much any time I drive when I used to drive this a lot, anytime I drove it, I would get high because of all the fumes that would get in. So I think I'll probably enjoy driving it a lot more now.
Now I want you to get the Z-Car Garage high, right? That comes from like, wow, man, this is good stuff.
Huh, okay. I'm trying to think, what else is...
And again, you asked about
Oh,
your
yeah,
Hall
yeah.
Tech
Can we
unit.
take a look at that?
Yeah, well, it's just all the way hidden away, right? And so it's in the passenger kick panel. Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. And
So
then we cleaned
all
up
of it
all
is-
of that wiring, all that crazy wiring that was underneath there.
Yeah.
Yeah, the spaghetti and meatballs has all been cleaned up.
Okay, so the ECU's right here. It's mounted really, really nicely.
Yes, sir.
Everything here, it's all mounted. It's so neat too. Now
Oh, thanks.
you redid a lot of the wiring down here, and it looks so neat now.
Just try to make it nice.
Yeah, I can't believe it.
Yeah, no, I think sitting here, I think it's really fun, but I think when we drive, I think that's going to be the biggest difference is that, all these little details all kind of put up into one makes for a pretty enjoyable experience.
And on top of that, you guys actually had to get the wheels refinished.
Correct.
So we actually had to send it back to Matt at Love
did.
20B.
And I got to tell you, I ranted last time you and I hung out. He's one of the guys. He's one of the guys that makes this industry so bitchin' because he cares. I was like, hey, I'm in the middle of Larry's car. I'm right here at the end, and the wheel offset. I don't like it enough to set the car where I want to set it. And he's like, I'm on it. And I sent them down to him, and he reacted quickly and got us some barrels. And again, he's just really fun to work with. His communication skills and his passion, right? Like that's the thing. When you can see somebody's passion in a text message, that shit's legit.
So if you guys want to check out his shop, we did a full video at his shop. And of course, we touched on it with this restoration build. So that's on bonus channel. But with that said, I just wanted to kind of give you guys an insight on the story behind these wheels. It was 5 days, I think, before JCCS last time, the last time the Japanese classic car show happened in Long Beach. I wanted to show this car, plus it just came out of paint, right? The only thing that I didn't have was wheels. And I really wanted a nice set of wheels. So I called up Matt at Love20B 5 days to go before the show. And I asked him if it was possible for him to make me a set of wheels. He said he had one of these centers laying around,
Yeah.
but generally speaking, the lead time for a wheel build is about whatever, 6 weeks,
Yeah, sure.
even longer, right?
longer, yeah.
I think now he's so backed up because of the fact that so many people want him to make custom wheels with custom offsets, with just, special hardware, special centers, special barrels.
Well, no one's doing it like him, right? Because that's the thing. It's like somebody can make you a wheel, but when the wheel master is taking your wheel, knows the offset, knows the car, and then has access to all the things that make great stuff, that's the difference.
Yeah, so he had these centers, and they're from whatever, 1985, right? Southern Ways Epsilons. And he made a set of wheels for the Z, 16-inch, 16 by 8 zero offset, but they were just a little bit too aggressive.
Correct. Well, for where we wanted to set your car up, right? Because again, your car isn't a road race car, your car isn't a drift car, your car is a get down, drive it, and enjoy it car. And so it had to have that combo of being able to drive down the road straight, go into a corner nicely, and come out of it quickly. And the offset was just a bit too aggressive for what we were trying to do.
Yeah, so essentially what was happening is it was rubbing a lot.
A lot.
Pretty much everywhere I would drive, anytime I hit a small bump, it was rubbing, and on top of that, my camber was maxed out front and rear.
Right, and that's the thing. You have KW suspension, you've got, great brakes, you've got all these things. You got to be able to throw the car around, and if your car doesn't have good wheel fitment, well then you can't.
Yeah, because so I put these AO52s on from Yokohama on these wheels, but the problem is my contact patch was only this big.
Oh yeah, sure.
Because I was running 3.5 degrees of camber on the street, and if I needed to brake or turn or anything, it was just this much rubber. I might as well have been running a 185 like on your 510.
We saw that doesn't work too well.
But it was pretty tough, to drive, to get the power down.
No doubt.
Now it's full contact patch.
Absolutely. Yeah, and again, you're going to see when we drive the car, it's transformation. Like if we teleport back a year ago and we drive this car on the block, and then we got out of the time machine, went back to here, two different cars. Pretty excited about it.
One of the big thing, really the biggest thing, and we'll get it up on the lift and we'll show you guys the brakes, but the biggest thing that I had an issue with was the fact that I just couldn't stop. I couldn't stop. I had Nissan Maxima rear brakes, and I had Toyota
fronts, right?
Toyota 4x4
Sure.
brakes that were meant for a pickup truck, you know?
Well, and again, it's just a hodgepodge when there's no brake math to it. Some cars probably get away with a little this, a little that, but it's just, again, now you've got confidence-inspiring brakes, and when you have a car that's this powerful and looks this good, you got to have it, right? Good wheel fitment, bitchin' suspension, brakes, cooling system. Your air conditioning is really cool. Like, pretty nice. Like, it's pretty cold in there. Yeah. So it'll be cool.
Well,
Pun intended.
Yeah,
It'll be pretty cool.
It'll be really cool. I actually reached out to Vintage Air because I know they do a lot of stuff for old school muscle
American
cars.
car. Hell yeah.
Muscle cars, they have so much more room, and it's a lot easier to potentially put a nice aftermarket air conditioning system into these cars, because a lot of them just never came with air conditioning. And plus, on top of that, if it did come with air conditioning, they were very primitive and they just didn't work very efficiently, right?
Well, and again, you'd put the compressor on, right, and lose a cylinder, right? That's how much load was on it, because you had this big honking compressor, like, taking it down. And so, yeah, being able to use modern day stuff on a vintage car, you get nice, cool weather inside.
On top of that, so Vintage Air sent over their smallest kit. And on top of that, they sent over something that looks stock, that looks OEM, and it matches the rest of the car. That's one of my favorite things about this kit. It's because it just doesn't look out of place.
Sure. Yeah.
And it looks like something that could have been on the car in 1970, and I think that looks great. So let's see. The last thing is, how much horsepower does it make?
I can't tell you that yet until you drive it. So it's kind of my thing. I think that when you know what kind of power your car makes, then you don't pay attention to the detail of the first time you feel all those changes. And so again, not breaking my rule, not even for you, Larry. We're gonna go drive it, and after you felt it full throttle, then I'll tell you what your power number is.
Okay, so this is how crazy Rob is. He sends me the dyno video. He sends me pictures of the dyno, and every one of those things that he sent me, the screen is blurred out, even on the video. So it's like, you know, it goes through the motions, you know, spits big fireballs, all of that stuff, but the screen is blurred out, so I can't actually see what it made.
Sorry.
So
it's just the way we do. And again, it's just, I really believe that the number is just the number. It's how you feel that makes you real. You know how many people have driven butters are like, what's this thing make? 350 horsepower? No, it doesn't. Because again, that's just a number. But what you feel when you're driving, when you drive your car, you're going to feel it. You're not going to care what the number is. That's just a number.
You enjoy this, don't you?
What do you
enjoy
mean?
this.
No, man, get out
You
of here.
enjoy this so much. This is what you love to
It's part of my
do.
process.
This is what you love to do.
Whatever. It's just part of my process, right? You got to stick to your guns. So.
No, but this is the fun part for you as an
Oh my
artist.
gosh, yes.
As an artist, you're creating this thing. It's kind of like what chefs do, and honestly, what I do too. You know, when I take pictures, and I take so much pride in showing the owner or whoever I'm working for. I show them the pictures, and I want them to enjoy them. I want them to be so excited for them. Kind of same thing with you.
Absolutely.
And you know, chefs, when they create something amazing, they want to see the people eating their food being happy,
Agreed.
and they want them to really appreciate all the work that they put in.
It's the draw for me, and it's the draw for everybody that works here. Because again, without people like you that are allowing us to kind of be the executors of their passions, like, I mean, I would just have a job. And I'd probably get fired at that job because I'm a little bit out there. But in here, we get to do what we love and work for people that, you know, again, we get to be part of their story. And so you're absolutely right. I mean, this isn't my job, man. This is my life.
Okay, so you're gonna take me on a ride right now.
Yes, I want you to grab the door panel in your own car, and it's all I've thought about. Like last night after dinner, I was like drifting off. Like my wife's like, "What's wrong? What are you thinking about?" I want to scare Larry tomorrow in his own car. That's what I was thinking.
Okay, all right, let's do this. Let's do this now.
All right, let me get them to move the 510, and we'll do it. All right.
We got the car on the lift. That way we can get a little bit closer, detailed look at some of the brake components and some of the other things that you guys did to the 240Z. To Ole Orange Bang. Let's see. So what am I looking at back here? We got the KW suspension that was already installed when we dropped it off here.
Correct.
But this is all new.
Correct. Yeah,
Rotors are new.
garage, right?
This is new.
Parking brake assembly that works with the factory cables, and then you look through here and you can see your Z-Car Garage CV axles,
Whoa.
and that is a bolt-in solution for the back of your car. So if a stock half shaft will bolt into your car, so will these CVs.
Before, what I had on here were 911 axles, and unfortunately, right before I brought it to you, I was driving on the freeway, and all of my bolts backed out because it wasn't safety wired properly.
Sure, but the other part of it was adapted, right? And that's exactly why we did what we did, is that we're just using the factory hardware on the inside, right? So there's no companion flange, there's no anything, it's just a bolt-in solution. So you're using your factory Nissan hardware on this side, and then hardware that we actually give to you when you buy our CVs. So nothing can back out, there are no issues. And again, we have over 120 of these out in the world, from anything from your car, James Stevens, Nasty Z, the Medusa, just, you know, any car that we're doing builds on, we're using our CVs on.
So this potentially, since it's on Nasty Z, which is well over 500 horsepower, it can handle a lot.
It has,
of
you
power.
know, I think that horsepower rating is kind of like a term to say, hey, this horsepower rating, but it's like we put all of our product on cars and test it before we ever sell it to anyone. And so, you know my big GTU car, like the 280ZX, right? All those cars have the CV axle, and we're using 13.5-inch wide slicks, and we're not having failures. Now, I'm not saying you can't break one of our CVs, it just takes some serious abuse, and we just haven't found that failure yet. So, and again, we're not looking for it. We want a good solution to where, again, you can drive your car, have smooth power delivery, and not any vibrations or any issues.
And then this is something that you guys are probably going to start doing with KW.
Yeah, we did, right? So that was the thing, right? KW made a few of these kits, one for your car, one for my car, and then we're going to private label that. And so Z-Car Garage is going to have the exclusive on the KW coilover systems for the S30s.
That's really big. That's
pretty huge.
That's big news. I mean, because part of it is that for street cars, in terms of KW, they dominate the Porsche market, the BMW market, a lot of European cars. First thing they do is get KW suspension. But in terms of Japanese cars, and especially old Japanese cars,
Correct.
It's not so well known.
That's right.
But the point is that they're a modern company that's making suspension components from raw materials
Absolutely.
today.
Right. Well,
For these cars.
and with engineering, right? They didn't just guess, right? They got a car in, they did all the testing with it, and then we took it a step further and put it onto our cars and gave feedback. And now, again, we're going to feel confident enough to put our name on it too. And so we're really pumped about it. So again, we've got a coilover solution, we've got a CV solution, and then our brakes, right? And that segues into one of the things that I'm most proud of in our products is the Z-Car Garage.
Yeah, tell
big
me
brake kit.
about these brakes, because what's weird or what's interesting about these brakes versus a lot of other kits for the Z or for similar applications is the fact that you don't actually have to change the master cylinder.
That is correct. Again, and that's all StopTech's fault, not mine, right? It's just the brake system is engineered around this car, and that's why it works so well. There's no proportioning valve. We're using the factory brake booster, factory brake master cylinder, and then all of the piston sizing, all of the area of rotor, everything is done with brake math. And that's what StopTech's known for, right? And that's exactly why it works so well. It's like, we had some great ideas, but you gotta go to the people that do brakes when you want the brake solution.
Well, part of it is the issue, for example, when I first brought the car to the shop, it had Nissan Maxima, like late 90s,
Sure.
or late 80s, early 90s Nissan Maxima brakes on it.
Sure.
It didn't work because the master cylinder on this is proportioned to give enough fluid for a drum brake system, but not enough for a caliper system, whereas this is designed in a way to use that amount of fluid.
Absolutely. Again, it's just the reason why we did this is we're building these epic sports cars. And when we got to the brakes, there is no brake solution on the market that we could say, wow, this gives me confidence. This makes me want to throw this car into this corner and get on the brakes late. We just didn't have that experience. And so we tried on our own, right? In 2000, I want to say maybe 7 or 8 is when we used the ST40 brake caliper, our own brackets, our own hats, our own rotors. It still didn't have that magic. And then again, you know, thank you to the StopTech engineers for believing in me and what we're doing. And so Tyler at StopTech took me under his wing and said, look, this is what's missing and let's do it. And that's where we got here.
So then let's say somebody does have your kit on their car. What happens if they need pads?
Just uses a StopTech off-the-shelf pad, a 309 pad for an ST42 caliper. And that's the biggest thing here is that I'm trying to offer serviceable items so that you can get the full life out of your Z car.
Okay, so then this, I'm just looking at the backside.
Yes.
This plate, you guys actually designed this then.
Well, so that is every one of these components that are in here is a StopTech component built around. So I sent them parts, ideas, thoughts, and then they engineered it. So everything, like, so when you get to your big brake kit from Z-Car Garage, it ships from StopTech, and there's actually a 55-page brake manual that goes with it. So any question that you have, we've already answered. And so very easy to install and works really well. And we have, I want to say, I think we're cresting 100 kits out in the world. Yeah.
And then it comes with the lines too?
It does. It comes with everything to bolt it onto your car.
Huh.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, super cool.
And then tell me about this e-brake caliper.
Yeah, so the e-brake calipers is something that I'm begging Stop Tech to do. So this is an off-the-shelf brake caliper that we make a couple of modifications to, and then we can actually get it to hook up to the factory brake cable. And so your factory brake lever that was in your car originally actuates the parking brake. And that's so cool, right? You know, it's like if you park your car in the garage and then you got to navigate out of the driveway and it's still warming up, you can just pull that e-brake. Right? She's still running, do your thing, jump back in and get after it. So really, really nice to have that. It's very convenient. And again, right, it's like the brakes fit a lot of 15-inch, 16-inch wheels. We're actually in development right now to kind of make a stage 2 that has a little bit bigger rotor and a little bit bigger caliper for guys that, you know, have got some pretty serious power levels. But so far, so great. I haven't seen a time where we've, I guess, gone past the braking capabilities of this kit so far.
I see. Okay, so most 15-inch wheels can fit on this.
Absolutely.
And also, obviously, probably all 16-inch.
Yeah, all 16s, all 17s. It just depends, again, like where your wheel offset is. But the other great thing, right, is we have a wheel fitment template. So if you email me and say, hey, Rob, I'm thinking about getting your brakes, but, Matt from Love 20 is building me a set of wheels. Cool. I can send him the template.
And then in terms of size, front and rear, what's the difference in size?
So the pistons in the rear are a different size than the front. And again, right, all of the brake math is surrounding to where when you get on the brakes, the car will not dip, dive, do anything funky. It will just be like if Nissan said, hey, here's some big brakes for your Z car.
Did you guys have a chance to tune this or do any corner balancing on it?
We did, yeah. We corner balanced your car. We put your weight in it. And again, the setup in your car is brilliant. I think you're really going to enjoy it.
How much does this car weigh?
I don't have the exact number, but pause for a second and I'll go get it on my phone. Yeah, because I kept it.
Okay.
Look at your car. The cross weight's 50.
Whoa.
Yeah, 2491 with your weight in it.
Interesting. So, yeah, and then the left front is just a little heavier because you put my weight in it. So 2491.
You weigh 160 pounds, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I made your weight, 165. Yeah. Pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
Yep.
This thing is lightweight. So a couple things that you guys did. So one of the complaints that I had was that it would overheat, and also on top of that, the AC didn't really cool down that much. It didn't really work very well. And as soon as I brought it to you, you looked at it and you realized that the air was just not being funneled to the right place.
That is correct, yeah. So the biggest thing about your car was when you looked at the front of it, there was just too many places for the air to go. And so what we did is we built a plate here so that you could actually make all the air go where we wanted it to end up. And so the really cool thing is, so when you had your heat exchanger, you had your intercooler, and you had your AC condenser, and you had your radiator.
Well, and before that, I even had an oil cooler.
Right, and so all of that stuff was just a bunch of things that are meant to cool off, right, to absorb all that heat. Well, they just couldn't work together as a team. And so that's what we did, right, was line them all up closely, move the oil cooler out of that area, and then force all the air to go where we wanted it to go, and then got us a bunch of CFM out of our bitchin' Spall fans, and that was a big game changer.
This is so neat too, right? So you got the oil cooler hidden behind the horns, the stock horns, and it's just enough space. And on top of that, you guys put some of the stock vents in, which allows for fresh air to go into the AC system. Correct. And it's not hot air, which that's what actually was happening before. It was like it was heated up before it needed to be cooled down, because essentially what it was doing was it was pulling in hot air from the engine bay, trying to cool that down for the cabin.
It was a mess. It was a hot mess. It really was. And again, that was the coolest thing. It's like we did it step by step. And saw that, okay, cool, now we've got the air going where we want. Next thing, we have to have enough fan and enough fan CFM to pull all that heat out of there. and it's worked pretty well so far.
I say this time and time again. I will be the first to admit that I'm not a builder. I'm a photographer, but I'm a car enthusiast. I love cars. I like to wrench also, but that's just not my job. You know, that's not my specialty. That's your specialty. That's what you guys do here at Z Car Garage. And it's kind of amazing to me how far I've been able to take it with my friends up until this point. But you guys just took it to the next level. This honestly is not even the same car anymore, and I cannot wait to drive this.
And it's going to be a really good time. And the other thing too is that you got to remember that last 10 to 15% is really hard, and it takes somebody that does it all the time. It's like, you know, I might get lucky with my camera at a kid's birthday party and take one good shot over and over again. You're taking the shot, right? And that's what I try to do in my shop, right? Is take the shot, but every day I'm doing the same thing over and over again, trying to get that last 10 to 15%. So, but yeah, I'm super stoked. Let's look under the hood too.
Okay, all right, so we're going to put it down. We're going to go for a drive, and I think my mind is gonna be blown a little bit.
Hope so.
Yeah.
That's the goal.
Here we go, setting off car alarms already.
Oh man.
This is my car. I can't believe we're in my car.
Man, it's pretty cool.
I just can't believe it.
Can't believe it either.
Already, in terms of just drivability, I can tell it's so much better.
Yeah, when you drive it, I don't want to be in the car. I want you to be by yourself when you drive it for the first time.
Really?
Yeah, I do. I want you to be in there.
No, I want you to be a part of it. I want you to be a part of it. We're in this journey together. As much as that sounds weird.
Yeah, I love it. How about this? Cold drivability. We're driving around.
Yeah.
Makes you happy. Really, really, really drivable. Just want to get some temp in it before we give her the beat
Yeah,
down.
for sure. Get some of that temp in. Whoa. It handles so much better. Whoa. It handles.
It doesn't hurt.
Dude, that sounds healthy. Jeez.
Oh man, I live for this.
This sounds crazy.
Sounds nice. Thank you, Honda Civic. Don't worry about it. Ma'am, don't worry about it. It's your world.
Incredible.
Look how nice it is.
It's like my car, but it's like not really, because then it's working fine. And the temps don't even, like my temps before,
yeah,
it would already be at like 190, 200 already.
That is really efficient.
How is that even a thing? Oh my god, and the brakes, I already feel it. Jeez. It finally performs how it looks. That was just a little taste. It finally performs how it looks.
It's really cool.
All right, so,
It's really
okay.
fun. Yes, sir.
The story is when the motor was pulled out of the Formula Drift car, It was running on C16 and it was tuned. It was making 390 horsepower to the wheels in an S14, right? Okay. And then when it got to me and when I put it in this car, we tuned it on 100 octane and it made 280 horsepower to the wheels. It was kind of like a conservative tune.
Yes, yeah. When it got to me, actually, you know, I think it made 245 on my dyno, like 245, and we'll look at the graph, and then not a lot of torque, and you could totally see that the engine wasn't very happy, and so then we pulled it apart, and you know, you'll see the results after. But again, too, we also tuned it for, you know, a lot of safety, you know, just to make it nice, but it's got plenty of power.
Whoa. What? No way. How's it like this? Oh, cop. You're insane.
Feel the brakes?
Yeah.
Look at the temp gauge.
180.
You see it come back down to idle.
Yeah.
You hear the fans, the glorious fans. Now we're back to chill mode and look at our temp gauge.
Yeah. It even went down.
Yeah.
Holy cow. There's no way. This is completely a different car.
Yes, sir.
Oh.
Look at how nice and stable it is,
Yeah.
right? At speed.
It drives
Just
nice
so
and
cool,
straight.
yeah.
Too. Jeez. Oh my god, it corners so hard. I wasn't ready for this. I didn't think it was gonna be like this. My smile, like I just can't, my jaw.
Well, again, I can keep driving it all day. Is this them?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Not for us. Good stuff. I can keep driving like that all day, but it'd be a whole lot cooler to sit shotgun while you enjoy your car. And again, I love how drivable it is, right? I'm in second gear, right? Low RPM, pulling up to a light, and it's just awesome. And then now you can hear our fans are on again, and they're gonna bring the temp right back down.
Wow. In terms of drivability, this Haltech, it's just like changed the game.
Really have. And we use them in all of our vintage fuel injection builds, our big 300ZX horsepower builds, any of the G35, 350Z supercharged builds. It's just a really, really nice unit. And again, I love the support of Haltech USA. Like anytime anything's going on, have a question about something, they always answer it immediately. They help you. They don't make you feel like you're putting them out. It's like they want you to be successful with their product. And that's why, again, when I find something that I like and a company that wants to work with me, I'll do anything in my power to keep using them, right? Like James Stevens' car, Haltech, right? And so we're about to put fuel injection on Butters, Haltech.
Oh, wow.
If someday I'm a homeowner and I have a lawnmower, standalone, Haltech.
Standalone ECU on
That's
a
correct.
lawnmower.
Haltech. So again, just fantastic. How cool is this? We're in your Z.
We are in my car.
And then look at this. Oh, look at this. Hold on, just watch my foot. And hold on a
It's
second.
stopping.
Hold on a second.
It doesn't roll away.
Yeah, look at this.
It doesn't overheat.
Temperature control. Hold on a second. Hot-blooded. Check Larry Z and C.
I'm blown away. I don't know. I don't really know how to feel, what to feel. I don't know what I'm feeling. Jeez. That freeway pull, though. Wow.
Yowza.
Oh, also, another thing.
Yes, sir.
This is so much more comfortable. Problem with the other seats I had,
Yeah.
they were too low.
Yeah.
So then my legs
Right.
were, it was like this. So it was only like the tip of my butt
Right.
touching the seat.
This seat is just, I mean, you know, again, just Recaro.
Yeah. Thud.
Oh, yeah. Good stuff, huh? Oh, man, these are nice, huh?
I can't believe it. This is my car.
It is. And again, you're feeling everything for the first time. So, you know, squeeze onto the brake, squeeze onto the throttle, and just enjoy.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah.
Jeez. No way.
I know, it's so cool.
No way.
Listen,
It stops.
I know, it's ridiculous.
I'm not. It's gonna take a while for me to get used to that.
It's ridiculous. That's what it is. As we say in
Should I
the
make a
business,
U-turn
in
and
the
then-
business, no. Hit it!
Oh my
Go
god.
to the right. We'll get on the highway.
Wow.
All right, bring that
So,
beat
and the
back.
red line is set up.
Yep, sure is. Hit me.
Whoa, it makes so much traction now. It used to spin out so easily in first gear, probably because I had this much contact patch.
Correct. You saw me go through this corner. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, it's got great traction. And it just feel how good it feels. Just
even just-
everything in your hand. It's got torque. Yeah.
It even just sounds different.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
everything. It stops so good. No way.
Yes, sir.
Jeez. It's like I've always dreamed of having a car like this. No way.
Like, feel how good that feels. Like, just, you know.
Plus the KWs, I feel like
yeah.
when we put them on initially,
Yes.
oh, and it doesn't die when I let it off.
Oh.
When I put on the KWs initially, it's not tuned or anything. It's not set up, right? So you have to actually tune them and set them up for it to be loaded correctly, for dampening correctly, all of that.
yeah.
So now all of it is set up correctly.
Yes.
I remember when I first put it on, I was like, wow, I can't believe how harsh these coilovers are. But now it's actually not that bad.
No,
it's great
really
for a
nice.
street car.
Absolutely. And again, just feel the whole thing like that. Again, you know, you haven't been in your car in a year and it's completely different. And like, look at this drivability. Like, we're on a full standalone ECU.
And on top of that, no crazy fume smell.
None.
Like it's not coming into the car. It's all shooting to the back.
Yes, sir. How about that? Get it?
Just that sound.
Yes. Yeah.
It's like set up correctly now.
Feels good.
It just sounds so dumb, but it's true. Like, it wasn't set up correctly until now. Everything feels so tight, everything feels so right, and it drives straight. It's not like hunting all over the road.
No.
That's what it used to do,
Right.
Probably because the alignment wasn't very
That's
good.
Exactly
it
right.
was probably
and your contact patch was so small,
Yeah.
right? And so that's the other thing. It's like you're fighting for grip, and now you got grip for days. And then you also, right, can get out of any situation because you're in control of the car and you got enough brake to do whatever you want. Look at that. You see that guy right there? He just gave us the thumbs up.
Really?
Thank you, sir. Nice shopping cart, sir. Throw that thing down in a second. Let's hear it for the boy. Jam it, jam it, jam it.
Wow. 85. Like that.
Yes, sir. How about it?
I mean, 55.
55, yes. 2 professionals on a closed course that happens to be 101.
Just crazy.
Yes.
It's like usable power.
Yes.
And it's still, honestly, I drove your 510. I love your 510. It's a great car, but that scares the shit out of me. This I can drive.
Yes.
And I can floor it without being scared. My pits don't get sweaty like driving your 510.
Hit it! Get some! And then the turning is so nice. And
so
get your
good.
foot in it. Yeah.
It's so good.
Oh, God.
It's so good.
Yeah.
It's something that I've never experienced before.
Well, again,
This is,
happy to be a part.
you know, I love James's car. Oh, and it's not overheating.
No.
I love.
I'm gonna take it up a notch.
Yeah, let's put on the AC.
I'm gonna take it up a notch, y'all.
Wow.
Take it up a notch. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Blows cold,
Sure does.
even though we've been flooring it all over the place.
Yeah. Well, let's just drive around with the AC on for a minute, right?
Oh, and the windows roll up.
Oh, yeah.
I don't have to push it.
No.
Jeez. This is a proper modernized sports car now.
Absolutely.
After all of this, you know, I bought this on my 21st birthday, and now it's become this crazy machine.
Pretty special. And again,
so special.
happy to be a part. So it's really cool. And again, it's really fun when a car, you know, that's modified comes to our shop and we get to put our twist on it, right? Like to be able to make this car drive, to be this powerful, and for this car to drive as nice as it does.
So good.
Yes.
So good. Now the innards match the outside. You know, this is just something that there you go. See? It's the other way around. The for the longest time, you know, it was like a 20-foot car, 25-foot car.
Sure.
And then once my friends at Bells and Vaughn restored it, it looked great, but it still drove like crap. You know,
It just needed love. It wasn't crap. It just was, like you said, you had all the right components, but they just needed to kind of be, you know, put together. Right?
Yeah.
Again, it's just, you had an awesome main course. You just needed a couple of sides to make the combo. And now you have the combo. Let's drive around with the AC on for a moment, if you don't mind.
and it doesn't overheat. Look
Yes,
at that,
sir.
170
Yeah.
with the AC on.
Yes, sir.
Blows nice and cold.
Cold as ice, you're willing to sacrifice our love.
I mean, LA heat, you know,
Yes.
it can get pretty brutal, so. Should I do the loop again?
You damn right. Like, I would like you to full throttle it. I mean, with the Haltech, it's going to shut the AC off for us automatically.
Really?
Yes, sir. Hit me.
Jeez,
Yeah.
that is just crazy. It's not even fair. It's like so, it just goes.
51-year-old Datsun, 2 guys, and I need you to go back to the shop now because I need my jacket. I'm cold. I'm cold in here right now. I'm chilly.
It's so crazy to me how it just plants and goes. I'm not even used to that at all. Like before, even with 240, you said it dynoed at 245.
Yeah. We'll look at the dynos when we get back now that you've driven it.
Yeah, when it was driving at 245, it was still hard to put down the power.
Sure.
In second gear, it was like on the edge of being able to keep the traction.
Yeah. Well, again, you're using this much of the tire, right?
Yeah.
And now we got grip.
First gear was useless. Yeah. First gear was done. And the reason why, like I said before, we had to set it to the 3.5 degrees camber was because the wheels were just so poking out. I wanted it to be as flush as possible.
Right. Now it looks really, really nice.
Do you know how far in he made it? Just 1 centimeter?
Well, whatever we spoke about, I thought it was I thought we did a half an inch.
Oh, just
half an inch.
in. Okay.
Pretty sure.
Yeah. The drivability, the brakes are just so good.
I know. And it's funny, like you cannot describe that without touching that pedal. Right? A paragraph does not do that brake pedal justice.
The thing is, it doesn't feel like a modern brake system. What it feels like it still feels like very manual.
Yeah.
And it feels very visceral versus a spongy modern one.
Right.
Where there's a very linear stopping power. Yeah. This is like, as soon as I let the weight of my foot rest on it, it stops the car.
It's nice. And the deeper you go, the better they get.
Yeah.
And again, it hasn't done anything odd, right? It hasn't done anything out of character that's made you not want to toss this car around. And that's what we're going for, right? It's like, who wants to do all this stuff to their car if you can't enjoy it and get the most out of it?
Yeah.
Watch out for the humans. Oh, emergency stop, no problem.
Yeah.
Z-Car Garage, brakes.
I just can't even. Okay, we've driven the car. You've been sending me updates, the expectations. I knew it was gonna be something great. I didn't think it was gonna be like that. It's a completely different car that actually works. It gives me the confidence to drive this thing, and I could drive it far.
That's what we want. That's why we do all this.
Versus before, I would only drive like a certain area near my house, because I knew if I needed to get a tow, I could get it towed back.
Right. So then you're going against the whole philosophy of Datsun, right? Because Datsuns are driven, and that's the thing where your car now should be able to do whatever you want it to do. That was really cool that you got into it after being out of it for a year, and you guys just went back to work. Just two friends, just getting to know each other again.
So what's the dyno chart look like?
Yeah, so your car, and again, I'll send you one, but your car came in making 244 to the wheels and 223 foot-pounds of torque. And so again, I wasn't trying for max power, I was using usable power. And so now you're making 295, 277. But if you take a look at it, it's the area under the curve that's so amazing. It's that before, your car's wastegate was actually misadjusted. So your car would never make full boost until way late. And so if you take a look at this wall of torque, that's all because the wastegate is adjusted properly. And that's why it feels so, again, when you like, wow, it's so responsive, everything there. Well, now it's all set up correctly.
Well, essentially this is making potentially 100, probably more than 100 horsepower over a stock SR.
Yeah, I think a stock SR, and again, it's been a really long time since I've touched a stock one, but they will usually make, about one, maybe right at 200 or 190 or something.
But that's to the crank.
No, at the wheels, they'll do that. Yeah, they'll sometimes make good power at the wheels, once you got them turned up a little bit. So again, stock for stock, hard to say. I'll just tell you this. When your car came here, it was like, eh. And now when I get in your car, and I'm like, wow.
Wait, so it made 244.
244. Yeah, 223, right? So here's your old torque, right? And there's your old horsepower. And then the red line is your new torque and your new horsepower. So quite a bit different. And again, I wasn't going for max
wow.
power. I was
Yeah.
going for drivable, because when you fall in love with this car, well, then we upgrade. Then we make 100 on top of this, right? But right now, your car has to prove itself. It looks beautiful, and now it drives beautiful. Combo, combination.
It's like that's a solid 300 horsepower.
Pretty nice.
To the wheels.
To the wheels.
Yeah.
In a car, right, that is light, has great weight distribution, has great traction, and then if things go wrong, I can get on my brakes. And that's awesome.
Yeah, so
makes you
essentially,
happy.
in terms of like chassis, it is making almost 3 times the horsepower of what it originally came with, right? I mean,
It's definitely making more power than they came with. And again, right, like Butters, this is a smooth operator, right? Butters is like, all like rocking and rolling and making sounds. This is just, it's just wonderful. And again,
It's
check
just
this
rushing
out.
air.
And then check it out, yeah. And then you're just like, man, I'm missing something. Well, what's wrong, baby? I'm cold. Do you have your jacket? It's the middle of summer. I know this air conditioning. It's so cold. So I'm stoked. Again, I'm happy that you're pleased, but I love when a car that's modified comes here and we get to put our touch on it. Because that's the cool part, right? It's like we just drove around, cruising, short shifting, right? Dudes walking down the street, giving us the thumbs up, right? And then, good stuff. I love making turbo noises.
yeah, I noticed.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank
you
you.
so
Fun.
much for just putting your touch on this thing and making it an actual drivable car. I'm going to drive this a lot.
You better.
With that said, I want to see some of your cars compete against some other cars at this versus that. It would be awesome if you can bring like maybe your Z32 or even the 510. Who knows? If you bring it to the airstrip and race against other cars, it'll just be, I'll just be happy to see them run.
Sure.
At all.
Yeah. I mean, again, right? I mean, that's the thing. It's like, that's what we're known for. It's like all the cars we build don't just get built and then go get put away somewhere. Like James Stevens, right? Everything that he posts is always his car, not at home, on a back road, starting shit in a parking lot, going here, going there, right? Drive-bys, like that's what they're for, right? We spend all this time, money, and effort to enjoy these cars, not just to collect them. Collecting them is cool, don't get me wrong, but enjoying them and driving them. So channel your Jaffe and do what Randy Jaffe does and make museum pieces drive on the street.
Without a doubt, 100%, I'm taking this to this versus that. I'm going to race against something probably so dumb, but that's okay because I like that. I think that'll be a lot of fun.
Let's do Butters versus the Bang. Let's do, right? And again, just because I'll be the underdog, how cool would it be? 2 extreme Datsuns in 2 different styles, 2 different ways from one shop. And maybe we can make one of those wrestling championship belts, and whoever wins gets to wear the belt for like a week or so.
I think I would just, I don't even want to try. This guy is a madman.
Z on Z crimes, you don't
This
want
guy,
that?
no, this guy's a madman behind the wheel. Yeah, it'll be an interesting race for sure.
We need to call somebody out though so that you can get after it and use all this cool stuff that we just did.
So cool.
Definitely.
Also, on top of that, because it has brakes finally, I can actually take it to, to a road course and not just do 2 laps and go off to
Right.
cool down.
Sure.
I can actually keep,
Yeah.
I can keep running lap after lap after lap
Absolutely.
to just actually improve my driving skill, and I can actually use it for what it was built for.
Definitely. And the other cool part of it is going to stay cool. It's going to work. And better yet, it's going to drive you home.
I like that. I think on that note, that is without a doubt a wrap.